Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, From K-12 to Post-Secondary, a Collaborative Approach to Comprehensive International Student Support. This is the second of 3 sessions in our fall webinar series on key topics in international education. My name is Morgan Flanagan, and I'm the Coordinator of Events and Special Initiatives at the BC Council for International Education. Thank you very much for joining us today on what I hope will be an informative session on international student support. Before we get started, it's important to acknowledge that at BCCIE, we live and work on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Now onto a few housekeeping items. I know we're all familiar with Zoom, but as a reminder, please use the Q&A function to send your questions or if you have any comments. If you need any technical assistance during the webinar, please use the chat box and we'll help answer your inquiry. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers for today's webinar. From GuardMe, we have Christine de Rocquigny, Manager Strategic Partnerships. From Thompson Rivers University, we have Mariana Abutilipova, International Supports Services Supervisor. From School District 60, we have Brian Campbell, District Principal of Careers and International Education. And from Vancouver Community College, we have Emily Chen, International Student Success and Engagement Coordinator. Thank you to all our speakers for joining us today, and over to you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Morgan, for the wonderful introductions. I'm just going to go ahead and share my presentation for everyone so we can get started. Beautiful. Everyone should be able to see that. So thank you all of us for joining today. I'm very appreciative to be able to present this webinar that's very near and dear to my heart. So talking about a collaborative approach to international student support. I am joined by, as Morgan let everyone know, by Emily, Mariana, and Brian. And today, instead of having, in my opinion, a typical webinar where we're just going to have a talking to everybody, I want to have a dialogue. I'd like to create a conversation about ways that we can move forward to help support our international students in this new landscape. And I was telling my co-presenters earlier that I want to talk about going back to basics. Let's going back to the basics and how best we can support those international students as they start their new journey and their exploratory for their education here in Canada. Before we get into it, I just want to give a little bit about GuardMe for people who don't know who GuardMe is. So GuardMe is proud to be a fully owned and operated and dedicated to providing innovative supports for impact students' lives. We now this year have over 26 years of experience exclusively in the education sector, and we support university, colleges, K-12, boards, private schools, short-term programs, you name it, anything that falls in that bucket. We support them using mental health and wellness programs, as well as seamless priority 2 care. One thing that I really am proud to be now, especially in this new landscape, is we're the only fully Canadian-owned and operated managing general underwriter in this space. And we design and have the ability to support and customize policy solutions and programs that are unlike anything else, and it all can be done in-house. So for me, that's one thing that I enjoy doing with working with schools. Now let's go into the meat and potatoes. Why are we here? Holistic support goes beyond students alone. By addressing the needs of students, staff, and faculty, we create a unified ecosystem that nurtures health, mental health, academic success, and personal development across the board. When every part of the institution, school, university collaborates, from the academic departments to student services, we create a stronger support system that benefits everybody. This ensures that students thrive academically and personally. So bringing together these diverse populations and diverse expertise from various departments encourages a culture of collaboration where new ideas, new practices, best practices can emerge, and we can drive innovation with regards to student support. So today, we're going to pool the knowledge from my co-presenters and talk about position ourselves in a way to lead that develops new and effective modes of mental health support, setting industry standards with regards to holistic support, as well as looking across all institutions and focusing on today in BC. So the question I get asked most, why? Why is it important? By combining this, it creates an expertise. So we've talked to Emily and talked to Mariana and we've talked to Brian, and they really see this cross-program collaboration as central to promote a community's wellness and social connection, ensuring every student feels that support and not just academically, but emotionally, socially, physically, right? Going back to why is it important? Why is that holistic piece? So working together allows us to do that. So this is where I'm going to rely heavily now on my co-presenters. We talk about the student journey and touch points. So the student journey, we seem to forget that it's not when they arrive in Canada or the program. It starts beforehand. And after talking to everyone at length, I know that some of my co-presenters have a wonderful pre-arrival component that they'd love to talk about. I'm going to put someone on the spot. There you go, Emily.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. From VCC's perspective, we do recognize, like a lot of institutions, we do recognize pre-arrival is a huge component, not just onboarding students to prepare them mentally and physically to be here and to be healthy, like Christine mentioned earlier. Um, for us, we do have pre-arrival sessions set up for all the students, including the student from major market from India, Vietnam, the Philippines. We will have pre-arrival session in the country from our country representatives. For the other students, I would usually deliver the online pre-arrival session, usually based on um, the different time zone, and we will provide an online pre-arrival session. Um, Earlier this year, we also rolled out a new program. It's called International Student Success Toolkit. At VCC, we use Moodle, which is an online learning platform. So we essentially created this course to onboard international students. We understand a lot of institutions have this Moodle course for academic support, but for our session for the student toolkit, we focus on how to prepare for your travel package. When you arrive at the airport, what you're going to expect. When you first come to Canada, what are the first month to-do list? How to get your social insurance number, how to open a bank account. We have all that information laid out. So we kind of align the pre-arrival session time, which is about 1.5 months before the student come to Canada, and we'll also roll out the same course at the same time. So students will be able to join our session to learn about what to expect in Canada, but at the same time, they can learn about all those resources at their own pace. So that this is what VCC we're offering right now for students about pre-arrival.
Mm-hmm. Mariana.
Yes, I get so excited when I talk about pre-arrival and pre-departure because you're getting ready, you're excited. We developed a communication plan that we communicate with our incoming students. So as Emily, we started emailing and connecting with our students early on. And we share the communication plan because we like the transparency so they know when they can expect which information pieces. And we always hold 2 pre-departure sessions. We know a lot of information can overwhelm, so for ourselves, we developed what comes first. For example, in the second pre-departure, we talk about safety as well. Let's say a student arrives at the beginning of August. We won't see them at the check-in at the end of August. So there is a time there where they will be doing something in the community, and we want them to be safe and healthy. So we communicate about the medical insurance, but we also communicate how to be safe during that time. And it's just the little things. So I think safety and well-being comes first. Ahead of time, what we communicate is the housing, for example, how to use the Moodle platform. We use the Moodle platform as well for the orientation course. All our pre-departure webinars are being recorded as well, so we can communicate with students that have missed a pre-departure session due to the time changes, time conflict, and so on and so on. So not only we try to prepare them as much as possible, but we also try to be aware of their time and the information we supply, because too much at once can overwhelm as well, and they don't know where to start. We also look into the type of students that we receive. Lately, we have been receiving a lot of mature students with kids, school-age children. So we connect and collaborate with, for example, Kamloops Immigrant Services here in Kamloops. And we do a session for the school-age children and their parents, actually, so they can prepare ahead of time before they actually come and register their children in schools. So we seek feedback as well. Many students who arrive and see us during the orientation, they remember our names as well. It's not just one person. We involve every team member. So somebody who is responsible for the medical insurances, medical insurance will present the medical insurance piece so the students can get familiar with people who will take care of them once they hear at TRU. So it's really nice when they arrive here during the orientation. They say, oh, you're Mariana, or you're Tanvir. You know, Sandy, I remember you from the pre-departure session. It was so good. And we always ask, what else did you want us to tell you? What would you like to know? What did we miss? So yeah, that's what we do at Thompson Rivers University.
Thanks, Mariana. And not last, but certainly not least, Brian.
At the K-12, we're pretty lucky. Our partners do a lot of work on the pre-arrival. So we focus on what information we can provide our partners during that time, present a package for the students for the pre-arrival. But we rely quite heavily on our K-12 agents to be working with that pre-arrival support.
Thank you. Yeah, so as everyone has said, pre-arrival is more than just logistics. It's a chance to plant the seeds of trust and well-being and connection. So long before the students ever see your campuses, this is the perfect opportunity to have that to demonstrate that the student's important. Which leads us into now they're here. Yay! So one thing that I always talk about is think orientation. It's not just a one-time presentation and it's done. As Mariana said, by that time, some of the students have that, I call it the glazed donut look. They are taking in so much information at once that they get overwhelmed. But we look at more of orientation as the foundation of a student's integration into the academic and community life. And don't get me wrong, yes, academics are important, absolutely. But so are everyday skills that we take for granted that we have as being Canadian here in Canada. Our international students will need those practical guidance on local culture, public safety, healthcare access, banking, budgeting, transportation, housing. So a single week of orientation, to be honest, isn't enough. Students need ongoing check-ins and workshops and community building, and especially over time too, not just a one-stop and done. And I know right now, some of my co-presenters do a wonderful job at the orientation and the continuation of the orientation. And I believe, Brian, you actually up in Peace River do a wonderful job of that continuation of the orientation that your students get.
Yeah, we really believe that the orientation should be like the entire time that they're here with us, and we do sessions with the students all year long. Of course, like everyone, we have our initial orientation where we give the school tours, we provide all the logistics and health information. But one of the cool things that I think we do is the third week of September, we take all of our students camping. So it's a great way for us to get to know the students, for them to get to know us, and I don't give them the Wi-Fi password, and there's no service where we're camping, so it really makes the students talk to each other, and it's a great way for everyone to get to know each other and provide a little bit of extra support for the students once that third week of September, once that homesickness is starting to kick in. And we have all of our students in a WhatsApp group, so we're constantly, like every couple weeks, pushing out some new information, whether it's supports from GuardMe, from the Keep Me Safe app, that we can remind the students that that wellness app is on their phones that they can use, or just activities where we can get them out and interacting with Canadian students, interacting with some of our other international students, be able to make some friends and kind of integrate them to life here in Fort St. John.
Thanks, Brian. Mariana, is there anything that you guys do up at TRU that's a continuation or transition of support for your students?
Yeah, so I'm going with this travel theme. So we say pre-departure. We don't say pre-arrival, which is exactly the
Okay.
same. But then, so imagine you're going into the airport, you did your pre-departure, now you have arrived. We actually do a separation between the check-in and the orientation. So the difference between the check-in, when they check in, we let them do some practical things like downloading all the apps, including the TRU safety app. We talk about medical insurance. We show them the difference between GuardMe, MSP. We also have the extended health and dental benefits. And we also talk to them about, the former Keep Me Safe, the GuardMe now, and mental health, and then social insurance number, all the practical things that they have to do, download, apply, receive, check in. That all takes place in one day, check-in. And we usually have an early check-in for those who have arrived a little bit earlier. And then, of course, we start with the orientation. And during the orientation, we want them to have fun, learn, participate, connect, socialize, and just be excited about starting their journey. So we take the practical element out of it. We keep it all for the check-in, and for the orientation, they just have to come, sit, watch, listen, ask questions, win prizes, things like that. And we include all the different stakeholders. So for example, the GuardMe ambassadors, the sustainability ambassadors. Some of them will come and present during the orientation, but some of them will just have a sort of the expo table with giveaways, and you can take pictures and, hashtag MyTRU. So it's a little bit of everything. Also together with meals that take place on campus, because I think connecting with students is also about having a meal together in a casual way. So during the check-in and during the orientation, we always feed the students. That also ensures that, most of them attend. We give them the welcome bag. Yeah, and the welcome bag, sustainability is big with TRU, so we give them the reusable water bottle. We tell them about water treatment plan that we have here. We have an orientation booklet that has a lot of QR codes because, students are not going to read books, chapters and chapters, right? So just something quick that they can QR scan and get to the website where the information is always up to date. So always a welcome bag, and the orientation is always super excited as well. So we bring previous students as well to connect with the new students. So it's a big, almost like a celebration and back-to-back sessions with everybody on campus.
I like that. Emily, is there anything else you want to add that no one's touched on yet?
No, those are a lot of good ideas. I already want to know if that can work at VCC's context. From VCC, I think another holistic way we work is from international, like Mariana mentioned, we do have the checking, all the practical stuff, and we also have all the orientation, really try to onboard the student, provide all the services. We talk with our academic departments, we talk to our college constantly. So we have an alignment. So international student, we understand they are a particular student group, but also they're part of the community. VCC's program is very academic. They're very career specific. So a lot of the program area like hairstyling, cosmetology, culinary arts, automotive, they will have their own program specific orientation. We do not want to have any overlap. We'll make sure the content is not overlapping. At the same time, we don't want to be information overloading for students. After all this program orientation, international student orientation is taken care of, then our college-wide will have a college-wide welcome week for students, and we collaborate with our student union. So the orientation will last for about at least 2 weeks for students to slowly transition into a student role to get to know about the campus resources. And I really like this model where we're doing right now to kind of involve every different unit in the college.
Well, thank you, Emily. That's a really great add to that piece. So now once we finish our arrival, once you finish your orientations, well, now let's look at what the different mindset is looking at integration. So international student support works best when it's integrated across departments, right? Not just isolated into the international office. We really want to have that collaboration between those departments. So creating those partnerships between like student affairs, academic departments, international offices, that creates that network or ecosystem of support. Academic advising and mental health services and cultural programs should speak to one another and not operate exclusively in silos or separately. Because if we don't have that connection about who's talking with what, we could be working in parallel. And when services are coordinated, students don't fall through those cracks. They experience a smoother and more supported journey from the classroom to the community. And let's be honest, your faculty, your staff, you're on the front lines. So giving you guys the tools to recognize and respond to cultural differences, communication barriers, struggles, whether it be mental health, whether it be trying to figure out what bus to take to school. Those emotional challenges are what's going to make the difference. So are there any cases, Mariana, where you've had any type of kind of cross-department collaboration that you've wanted to do or you've experienced at TRU?
We always try to collaborate. Like, I love the word collaborate, connect. So we always reach out. They started at the orientation. So as Emily said, our international orientation always takes place before the faculty's orientation and the campus-wide orientation. Sometimes students get confused, like, how many orientations are there? Which should I attend? I know, like, the whole September is something. And then the student union, of course, with all their events as well, clubs day and this and that. So we do collaborate, like the TrueSU, the TRU student union comes to our orientation as well to do the opening. I think during the orientation, once you connect the students with as many departments as possible and as many faculties, and you just let them know that no matter what happens, there are people to help them everywhere. And even people to help to find out who can help them. I think that's the main thing of the orientation, because they won't be able to maybe remember every little detail. So the cooperation and connection starts there. And then later on, you kind of have to help them to go into every department for their needs. So for example, like the health center, right? The career education office. So we're always in touch with them. They know when our orientation is, they know what's happening because of the communication plan that we have. We share not only with students, but with colleagues as well. So I think transparency is important. The communication, when somebody is looking for somebody, they know who to ask, whether it's the colleagues or the students. So yeah, it's kind of always as a part of existence of TRU and the TRU world is to work with other departments. And then if they have any events after, we often share it on TRU World Instagram, so they know who to reach out if they have a special event. We also teach students to follow different Instagrams, because career education has their own, a school of business has their own, and so on and so on. So it's a busy time for students, just a matter of being everywhere on time and go to school and maybe have a part-time job and take care of your well-being.
Very true. And Brian, so coming out from a K-12 perspective, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're hearing from the TRU VCC. What would that look like, or what you've experienced, some collaboration between your departments?
One of the things that we try to do is meet with our staff, the teachers who are going to be working with the kids, and give them some strategies on how they can better support students. If they see students that are starting to struggle early, to connect with the international department so we can put some supports in place so we can intervene quickly. Talking to the host parents of a lot of our students that are coming, and they're living in much different time zones, so it's hard to connect with family and friends at home. So watching for things, if the students are staying up all night kind of online connecting with friends, and then they're too tired to come to work, or come work at school. So talking to the staff, talking to the host families, talking to the kids about strategies on how we can support them, and with all of those different teams working together to support the kids.
That's a great one, Brian. And that actually takes me beautifully into the next one. or we talk about social and cultural, one of the most powerful forms of support is peer-to-peer connection. Students often feel more comfortable opening up to someone who's been in their shoes or is in their shoes, or they can see as kind of a equal. Pairing new international students with experienced ones, ideally those who share similar cultural backgrounds and are ready to navigate the international student journey, these mentors or supports or friends, quasi-friends, can offer that emotional support for the daily life and help ease that transition. And again, going back to navigating transit, looking at campus resources, managing homesickness, or even understanding what's the expectation of class and notes and teachers and homework. The peer mentors or friends can provide insights that staff simply can't replicate that relationship. And I know, Emily, at VCC, you guys do a really great job of looking at that integration for that social and cultural component.
Yes. So again, I understand a lot of institutions are doing the peer mentorship program, and so as VCC, every institution have different challenges or different strengths in terms of pairing each student. For us, we call it IPMC, the International Peer Mentorship Community. I believe this is our 4th year. Every year we have 2 intakes. Essentially, what we do is to pair senior VCC international student with brand new international student. Usually, what we do is we train, we select, we interview different potential mentors, and after we have a short list, we actually have a dedicated training session, making sure they understand the commitment. Then we will also train the student to become a student leader, reaching out to their mentees. Usually, we have one mentor mentoring maximum 6 new international students. We also have a very comprehensive onboarding process to welcome all the mentor mentees, invite them for a welcome meetup events. Like Mariana mentioned, food is everything. So we offer food, we offer drinks, we offer games. That is through all the games, Pictionary, and everything. They started to have a social bonding, and then they ask questions. It's a very dedicated process. There are a lot of challenges, and for institutions who are actually having this type of program, I'm pretty sure there are some challenges, but I think we have a very open communication channel with all our mentors and mentees, welcome them to give us feedbacks. For example, one of our challenges is having mentors and mentees in 2 different campuses. They are very close to each other, but still it takes commitment. So we have different strategies to address those challenges, and it's very successful. We are really growing really fast in this community, and we're very proud of it.
And Brian, looking at from another K-12 component, where you're at one campus, but you're dealing with minors per se, are there any type of community or peer engagement that you guys are doing or looking at the cultural transition?
One of the very cool things that happens when students arrive in Fort St. John is the city has a community block party, and that same weekend they have what's called the community one-stop registration. So all the community clubs and organizations in the city get together in our mall, and it's a great opportunity for our students to be able to walk through, talk to different organizations and the people who run them to see if they can be a part of them. So it's a community event, but it's a great way for our students to get involved and start to be connected with the community. We just
I
like
love
and
that.
just like the other people mentioned, we have Canadian students who are involved with our international student program that are taking the students, getting them involved, connecting them with activities within the school and outside in the community as well.
That's a perfect transition actually to talk about support services now, and how support services are most effective when they're woven into the fabric of that community and not offered as standalone or reactive. So talking about that proactiveness. I know there's integrated programs that are being offered that help kind of foster that culture of care, and they connect students not just to each other, but also to other services that will build that support network that extends well beyond the classroom setting. And I know, talking to Mariana, that you do have a really unified support system or that you have right now at TRU. I'd love to hear more about it.
So I was just taking notes as everybody's saying. Yeah, and thinking about all the things that TRU offers. We have to be a model for our own students in terms of how we take care of ourselves. Being mentally healthy, being physically healthy is important. Without it, we're not going to go anywhere. So the health, the safety comes first, and this is a consistent message that we'll always present to all our students. If it is important to us, it's important to them. Many of our students, some are mature, but some might be quite young. They're somebody else's children. And if I'm sending my kids somewhere else, on the other side of the world, what do I want them to experience? Which people I want to see to take care of them, advise them. And so that's what we do here at TRU. So a lot of health comes from, let's say, recreation, food on campus. We have a lot of different food programs, connecting over food, but also over other events. If you're doing something fun, you will connect with somebody. I know we have a friend dating program right now. And then of course, many, many clubs that we have. If you just think of anything, there is a club for you. And if you haven't found the club that you feel you belong to, you can start one. Our student union is very supportive in that way. We have an amazing LEAP program, which is Leisure Exploration Activity Program, where mostly international students, but also domestic, connect by doing certain fun activities. Let's say they can go ski at Sun Peaks Resort for a very little cost, or go to Vernon, or go to Vancouver, go climbing, go do some art, because connection happens at a certain time when people experience something together. So yes, going to classes, yes, working part-time, but also connecting and having fun, because you're only student for so long. We had an amazing volunteer fair, a little bit similar, as Emily mentioned, and Brian, what happened in their community, where a lot of organizations from the area came together. And this is what students got to experience, to connect, if they can volunteer anywhere in Kamloops, because Kamloops is a small community, and it's all about the connections. Not everybody will be able to find a job right away, but they can start with volunteering. So volunteering is really big at TRU. Even during our orientation, our volunteers are wearing bright yellow t-shirts, and the students are looking at them. And we always say, these were you a few months ago, sometimes years ago, and now without them, we can't run such great events like we are running now. Our Wolfpack athletic teams are very involved as well. They always come to the orientation, because there's always somebody who would like to go for a tryout, basketball, volleyball, you name it, soccer, even cheerleading, so it's all about different things that exist, and just make sure the students are aware of them. Sometimes you meet a student that, has been here for a few semesters and they've never heard of this or never heard of that. We're trying to avoid this in a good way, not overloading, but giving all these pieces of information. And yeah, mental health, we have all your paperwork and little cards and all shapes and forms. And by modeling the behavior and saying mental health is important, it's not a taboo anymore. If it's important for me as a person who works with a student, it's almost like, advertising it. It should be the part of everyday life, being okay inside and out.
Absolutely. Emily, is there anything else that you want to add coming from that post-secondary perspective of looking at retention and well-being of the students and the access?
Yes, so I think to continue on Mariana's topic on mental health, I think the modeling piece is very important. International student coming from a very different cultural background, everybody understand that from some cultures is taboo. We really need, we have a lot of on-campus events. We have here to talk, the together all the counseling. We also have like a lot of events on campus, small and big, to really bring that awareness. It's difficult, but one of the throughout all the years we have been doing and promoting, one of the good confirmation comes from our the college institutional research. This year we do every year we do surveys for faculties and staff, and then our student service team actually was really grateful, and they relay that information that a lot of international students, when they did the survey about mental health awareness and their services, and the number of the international students taking up those services are higher compared to domestic students. And we take that as a good indicator that a lot of students are actually understanding and using those services. We also have a food security project that is to address a lot of the, real challenges for a lot of students. And another difference about, I like small community environment, and students can do a lot of things. From VCC, we are at the urban area, and the nature for VCC, we don't have, it's very interesting, we don't have student clubs. So we really need to be very active and creative in bridging those gaps and try to bring students together socially, to engage with each other through the mentor, for example, through the mentorship program. Student will be able to connect and go out and hiking. And for volunteering, we do work with Success, our local NGO, to bring different workshops, to bring different opportunities, and we post and we share with students, and then through social media. So we're trying to find different ways to really engage students, not only academically, but socially. And I think that's very important.
No, that's a really great intention as well. And I know, Brian, you talked briefly about that, but is there anything else that you care to add for specifically looking at that K-12 sector?
Well, we're really lucky because our program is a little bit smaller. We typically have 50 to 60 students. So those check-ins that we can do a lot more check-ins, especially through our homestay. So we check in with the students every month to check to see how their homestay is going. But we also connect with the host parents as well every month, just to see, to make sure that people are on the same page. And the homestay parents can tell us that they're seeing things at home that we don't necessarily see at school. And we're lucky as well that our staff is located in our largest high school, where the majority of our students are at. So we see the students almost every day. So building that relationship, that they know that there's people that they can connect with if they have problems, whether it's the international staff or schools counselors or teachers at the school, is really important.
That's wonderful. And I love having diverse perspective and seeing how everybody is able to customize for their student population. So coming back to the student journey now, we've gone through this journey. And now, last step, let's talk about graduation. Graduation is a massive milestone, whether it be a high school, whether it be university, whether it be a diploma program. That is a major life transition, though. Support shouldn't just stop when that diploma is handed out. Be able to offer continued access to virtual health sessions, alumni wellness supports, so students know they're still part of that caring community. It's not just, here you go, see you later. We want to empower those graduates to give back by returning, maybe as a peer mentor, maybe coming on, having as a guest speaker and alumni, coming back into the classroom, back into the school. To have that lived experience is invaluable to those current students. So one thing I really want to focus on is allowing the ongoing access to select university wellness programs, resources, keeps that alumni connected and supported and engaged. And that's reinforcing those lifelong sense of community. I always like to talk about graduation isn't the end. It's a handoff. It's a new beginning, it's a new chapter. So really focusing on preparing those students to move forward at the same time we offered when they first arrived. And looking at Brian, is there anything that you up in Peace River do to help your K-12 students transition to that next step?
Yeah, it's checking in with each student individually, seeing what their goals are. That next step for a lot of students is extremely stressful, especially moving from high school to post-secondary or from high school to the world of work. So it's looking at what are their goals and how do we help them get there. Whether it's, if a student is going into a program that post-secondary that needs a portfolio, maybe we can connect them with an expert in our community that does that has experience with that can help and support them. Or it might even just be something as simple as sitting down and reviewing their post-secondary application. For a 17, 18-year-old, that's terrifying when they haven't done it before. So just to have that person be able to be there to give them a little bit of extra support is really important.
Agreed. Emily, when your students graduate from your programs, what do you have anything in place to support them? Are you working towards that? Is it something that you want to improve upon?
Um, I would say both for students who graduate from VCC. I think our approach are I really like the idea about gratitude circles and then reflection. But then so far our practice are more addressing on how to apply for PGWP, how to actually make sure you have all the other documents checked when you graduate. Also, of course, we have a very strong emphasis on career planning throughout their time, not only just at the graduation, but we take it very we think this is very important for students, and graduation is something I think there's a lot of room for us to improve. I think last year I attended one BCCIE session. One of the colleges in the East, they actually have a pre-graduation program, and I love that idea. And we definitely want to put more thought into that and helping our student in a more not only practical way, how to deal with how to complete the checklist, but also understand to be mentally prepared when they're going into the job force. And also the beyond part about working with alumni, we unofficially, we do have a lot of students coming back. For example, our mentors, they would continue to be a mentor until they graduate. And we have a mentor who is graduating from our early childhood education. She was already very excited to come to my office saying, my other classmates and I, we set up a business. We're gonna be entrepreneur, So there are so many stories, and we definitely want to talk with our VCC Foundation and to see if there's another way to collaborate. There's just a lot of opportunities there.
And Mariana, anything that we've missed that you think would add value to the conversation about that preparation for graduation and beyond?
Well, I think the preparation for graduation starts when they start their time at TRU, and we try to teach them because everything you do from now on matters. Connections that you make could be your future employers. You go volunteer, then you do a co-op job, another co-op job. Here you go. You have a job offer upon the graduation. So it doesn't happen in the last semester. It happens from the start. And if they think of connecting all the little pieces towards the goal of graduating, getting an employment, being sure they see the path, I think that's the important piece there that we try to teach actually already during the orientation. We do have an alumni department, and they're amazing. They started attending our convocation receptions, graduation events everywhere. They have their own platform. They have the alumni app, our alumni, and because it's a small community, many of them stay in Kamloops and become the business owners. And it's about, ordering the pizza from the alumni who owns the business now for our students that just arrived for the orientation. It's connecting, helping them to grow. Anything we can do to connect and to help, we do. The career education, you have access to it. The career experiential learning is the right word. With their co-op office, they're the ones that have allowed any alumni access to their services even beyond the graduation. You have access to your MyTRU forever because maybe you will be coming back as a grad student. And that happens a lot. Sometimes we see parents whose kids just start the journey while they're graduating. I know times are not easy now. I think the important thing is also not to overpromise and underdeliver, right? Nobody can say what's going to happen. All we can say is that we will support you at any time. They are welcome to come back and to talk to our immigration advising team as well. And the postgrad work permit piece is the part of every conversation when it's applicable, with our students. Everything they do to stay a full-time student, if PGWP is something that they care about, they should be aware of all the pieces that contribute to it from the start. So yeah, just have the alumni network, people who are busy with alumni, they connect. They did a presentation lately. I could see the card, and you can, like, the map of the whole world, and you could connect where the alumni of TRU are working, where they are in the world. And they try to get the students at every graduation to sign up so we can increase our platform. It's also good for fundraising. You never know where your alumni are ending up. And yes, they're the part of our orientations as well, the part of many events, because it's a small town. Many of them are our friends, family. We connect with them. We always know where they are. So yeah, I think it's important. It's about connection, right? The alumni is, and they will come back to TRU if they feel the connection. And they get discounts, like the alumni offer discount. That's why we have the alumni app, right? You have to be interested why you should sign up to be a TRU alumni. What's the perks?
Thank you, Mariana. No, I think this takes us all back to the beginning. So as we welcome international students into our institutions and our classrooms, it's very important to remember that their success doesn't start at the classroom door, when their plane arrives, when they're at their home state. It starts long before they arrive and extends far beyond those classroom walls and the academics. A holistic approach to a student support means we're not just focusing on the grades, the study habits, the academic component. We're creating that ecosystem that supports every dimension of that student's journey from start to finish and beyond. So today, if I can give one call to action, it's let's go beyond the information packets, the welcome emails. Let's actually truly implement an integrated strategy and ecosystem that promotes belonging, well-being, mental health support, and that intercultural connection from the very start. One thing that quote resonated with me is international students are not just learners, they're community members, they're future leaders, they're cultural ambassadors. Supporting them holistically means investing in the institutions and as a global society and beyond. So today, I hope, thanks to my three wonderful presenters, we had the ability to take away some tidbits, some information that's going to help you collaborate with your students and with your cross-dimensional departments. And if you do need support on that collaboration, I want to present talking about our GARMI ecosystem. It's not just about adding benefits. It's about creating that integration that we've just talked about that honors each person's complete humanity. GARMI's interconnected support approach, it emerges from reimagining how care is offered, moving away from that fragmented services towards that person-centered approach that celebrates diversity and the pathway to well-being. We really are focusing on weaving together those comprehensive health access, multilingual counseling support, accessible telehealth, crisis care, culturally responsive psychoeducational opportunities. These supports, this ecosystems of what we've co-created with institutions to support the entire campus community and really honoring those lived experiences and those self-determined journeys those students are having and now are thriving from. So should you feel that there should be a need or you want to work more on with institutions to co-create spaces where well-being and authentic connections are there, please feel free to reach out to me. Or if you have questions about certain aspects, my co-presenters as well have experiences. And I think now we have the opportunity to do some questions. Talking to Morgan, I believe there are some in the chat. I can go pop and see what we have here right now.